And we are live.
Good evening. This meeting of Community Affairs and Planning Committee is being held electronically and live streamed on the town's website. All members of council in attendance are participating by audio and video teleconference, and town staff are available throughout the meeting if council members have any questions on the agenda. For members of the public watching from home, please bear with us if we encounter any technical difficulties throughout the meeting. I'll now call this meeting to order. We will start with the land acknowledgement. We would like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that the land in which we gather is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas. More specifically, the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, signatories of the Gunshot Treaty of 1788 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. This land is and will continue to be home to the Indigenous peoples. Let us acknowledge the mistakes and traumas of the past through authenticity and support truth and reconciliation. Let us engage and celebrate Indigenous communities by being leaders of action in acknowledging the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recommendations towards truth and reconciliation. Let us keep these principles close as we continue towards truth and reconciliation and as we move forward with kindness and respect as a community. I'll now ask if there's any disclosures of community interest from council. Seeing none, I'll move on to the adoption of minutes, moved by Regional Councillor Crawford, second by Councillor Tyler Morin, that the minutes of Community Affairs and Planning meeting held on January 9th, 2023 be adopted. Any questions, comments, concerns? Call to vote then, all in favor? Opposed? And that carries. We'll now, there's no public meeting, so we are now at the presentation. And I believe we have Carolyn Murphy, Senior Planner, to speak on PDS 2023-02, our 2031 Municipal Housing Target Pledge.
Thank you. Just give me one moment while I get my screen shared. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and members of the public. My name is Carolyn Murphy, Senior Planner with the town. Tonight, I am here to discuss a municipal housing target pledge that staff have prepared in response to a request issued by the province. I will start off with an overview of provincial initiatives, outline the municipal housing target that the town has been assigned, and provide some background information regarding the historical average housing growth rates in Ajax. I will then discuss our municipal focus and initiatives, the housing unit projections resulting from the initiatives, barriers and potential mitigation strategies, and lastly, the conditions of the recommended housing pledge. The province released the More Homes Built Faster, Ontario's Housing Supply Action Plan 2022 to 2023 on October 25th of last year, with the objective of addressing the housing supply crisis in the province and committed to facilitating the construction of 1.5 million homes over the next 10 years. To support the Housing Supply Action Plan, the province released Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act 2022, and released a series of bulletins on the Environmental Registry of Ontario related to housing. Tonight's focus will be on bulletin number 196171, 2031 Municipal Housing Targets. Municipal housing targets were assigned to 29 of the largest and fastest growing lower and single tier municipalities in Southern Ontario to work towards the province's commitment to construct 1.5 million homes over the next 10 years. The province indicated that these targets were based off of the current population and 2011 to 2021 growth trends. As shown in the table provided, the town of Ajax has been assigned the construction of 17,000 new homes by 2031, which works out to approximately 1,888 housing units per year in Ajax over this timeframe. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing issued a letter to the town at the end of October of last year, requesting that our head of council demonstrate its commitment to accelerating the housing supply in our community by adopting a housing pledge by March 1st of this year. More specifically, the housing pledge is to identify the tools and strategies that the town intends to use to achieve the assigned housing target. Given the nature of this request, staff have decided to present the town's pledge in a chart format, which will be discussed in further detail later on in this presentation, and is also included as attachment 1 to the provided staff report. As I mentioned on the previous slide, approximately 1,888 units would have to be constructed annually until 2031 to meet the assigned target. On the next slide, I will go over the historical average housing growth rates in Ajax, which highlights how ambitious the assigned housing target is. The above figure is pulled from the region's Growth Management Phase 2 study, which was prepared by Watson and Associates. As shown, the average annual housing growth rate has been incrementally slowing from a high of 4.1% between 2006 and 2011 to a low of 1% between 2016 and 2021. This is largely driven by the dwindling supply of available green land within the town. The growth management study also indicated that over the most recent 3-year census period, there were an average of approximately 730 households added annually. The assigned housing target is almost 2.5 times the average annual number of units constructed between 2006 to 2021. For comparison, the most permits issued in 1 year in Ajax was 1,844 dwelling units in 2006, which is still less than the annual amount we would need in order to meet the assigned target. Growth within the town is expected to shift from predominantly low-rise, low-density development to medium to high-density intensification and infill development. The region's growth allocations and land needs analysis completed as part of the Municipal Comprehensive Review anticipates that the town will average 1,070 dwelling units annually to 2051, which is also significantly lower than the assigned housing target. The town can strive to create a land use framework that will help meet the assigned housing target, but ultimately the success of the target is driven by the housing market and the ability for the private sector to construct the units. Given this information, we can only focus on the matters that are within the town's control. The town's focus will be to strive to meet the assigned housing target of 17,000 new homes by 2031 and recognize components of its implementation are beyond the town's control. For example, housing sales and construction are predominantly driven by the market, private landowners, and businesses, and servicing infrastructure capacity is under regional jurisdiction. The town can also commit to improving matters such as streamlining development approvals, undertaking studies or initiatives that update land use planning framework in Ajax, and seeking funding or partnership opportunities with the province. Lastly, one of the key components of the proposed housing pledge was identifying municipal initiatives that will help facilitate an increase in the supply and diversity of housing in Ajax. The initiatives in the recommended housing pledge have been divided into the following categories. Recently completed as of January 2023, shown in green in the attachment to the staff report. Underway as of January 2023, shown in blue. Planned, meaning initiatives that are in departmental work plans, have approved budget, are identified in the town's long-range capital budget forecast, and/or are legislatively required, shown in yellow. And lastly, proposed, meaning new initiatives that have not yet been approved, but are to be proposed in the town's future long-range capital budget forecast and/or departmental work plans, shown in red. In the recently completed category, we have the Central Ajax Intensification, Servicing, and Transportation Strategy, also known as CAST, which helped unlock the growth potential in the downtown and Ajax GO station areas, by identifying and planning servicing and transportation infrastructure improvements needed to accommodate future growth. Also within this category is the team pod restructuring for development application review, which was launched in 2022 with the goal of streamlining and improving the development application process by creating interdisciplinary teams to identify and resolve potential issues faster. In the underway category, we have the Region of Durham Municipal Comprehensive Review, Envision Durham, which the town has been actively engaged in, the Ajax Housing Strategy, and the development approvals process improvements. Achievement of some of the initiatives in the planned and proposed categories of this pledge are contingent on completion of the Municipal Comprehensive Review and the provincial approval of the Durham Regional Official Plan Amendment number 186, which is needed to delineate the boundaries of the Ajax GO Station protected major transit station area. Sorry, I do see a hand up by the mayor.
No, we'll save all questions for the end. I just asked them to put their hands up for now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. In the planned category, we have the Ajax Official Plan Review, which also includes various specific studies for the Ajax GO Station mixed use area, Uptown Regional Center area, Midtown Corridor area, and North Harwood area. This category also includes the Hunt Street extension and addendum to the approved environmental assessment and architectural guidelines for medium density and high density development. The OP review is a key project that will help deliver housing faster by creating a framework to enable medium and high density mixed use development in strategic locations. In the proposed category, we have the surplus and underutilized lands inventory, inclusionary zoning assessment report, protected major transit station area zoning bylaw amendment, and the affordable and supportive housing liaison. Establishing as-of-right zoning permissions within the major transit station area can speed up approval timelines and enable projects to go directly for site plan approval, which would ultimately help deliver housing faster. More details on each initiative are included in attachment 1 of the staff report. As part of identifying the initiatives on the previous slides, staff have also calculated housing unit projections where possible. Although a specific unit count and type cannot be assigned to every initiative, the above table is a summary from the housing pledge of the units that we were able to calculate projections for. The housing unit estimates are based off of previously completed studies and or based on historical data to create estimates. The housing units identified may also overlap across initiatives, such as those related to the Ajax GO Station protected major transit station area. The initiatives are at different stages in the process, as shown in the third column, and therefore timing of delivery of these estimated unit counts remains unknown. Based on the analysis completed, there is potential to accommodate between 32,000 and 44,000 units. However, this analysis has been based on a build out to 2051. As you can see, there is no shortage of projects and land area to meet the assigned housing target. It will ultimately be on the private industry's ability to construct. Although staff can identify initiatives that will help to deliver housing and calculate housing unit projections for some, it is important to note that the town is faced with several barriers related to the implementation and completion of the identified initiatives. This includes frequent and significant changes in legislation, lack of staff resources to align work plans and implement changes, a reliance on regional and provincial partners, such as for grant funding, servicing capacity allocation and approvals. As an example, the region and town are awaiting approval of Regional Official Plan Amendment number 186 by the province to proceed with planning related to the protected major transit station areas. unknowns related to Bill 23, such as the status of regional planning. And lastly, market demand, advancement of construction by private landowners, and the construction industry's ability to build. In terms of potential mitigation strategies, financial resources are needed to implement initiatives such as grant opportunities like the Streamlined Development Approval Fund, which the province has recently extended the utilization timeframe for. Continuing to work with the region and province to advance approvals of the region's official plan and amendments. Identifying opportunities to open up publicly owned vacant and underutilized lands for development, and hiring external consultants to assist in the implementation. As shown in the attachment to the staff report, and as discussed this evening, the pledge includes details regarding the municipal initiatives that have been recently completed, are underway, planned, or proposed to help deliver housing in Ajax. Staff felt that it was important to attach conditions to our pledge, especially given that components of its implementation are beyond the control of the town. The recommended conditions are as follows: that the town not be penalized financially or otherwise for failing to meet the identified housing target, that the housing target be recognized as an aspirational target, and that the town be permitted to continue to utilize the applicable population and employment forecasts from the Growth Plan 2020 and/or municipal growth allocations assigned to and/or developed by the town for the purposes of creating development-related studies, plans, and bylaws. That the province continue to work with municipalities to provide grant opportunities, such as the Streamlined Development Approval Fund, to aid in the rapid delivery of the identified municipal initiatives and growth-related infrastructure. And lastly, that the province continue to consult and engage with municipalities on recent and future legislative changes and initiatives to find mutually beneficial ways to streamline approvals and enable municipalities to continue to collect growth-related charges to deliver infrastructure and community needs quickly. Given the information provided this evening, staff requests that Council endorse the Town of Ajax 2031 Municipal Housing Target Pledge as included in Attachment 1 to the staff report and subject to the conditions provided on the previous slide. That concludes my presentation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline, for that presentation. Mayor Colley, before I get to you, I'm just going to move the report up so we can just get questions to the presentation and the report at once. So I have moved by Councillor Bauer, seconded by Regional Councillor Dyes, that 5.1 PDS 2023-02, the 2031 Municipal Housing Target Pledge, be, well, all the information, if you can just click on 5.1 clerk, all the information is on screen. So now moving on to questions, we have Mayor Collier first.
You talked about ways to help advance. You didn't list minister zoning orders, and this council very recently took a aggressive approach to try and accelerate 5 parcels and 4,100 units that I didn't see as part of your presentation.
Director Romanowski, did you want to field that one?
No, Carolyn can.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Take it. I'm just participating in the conversation.
Caroline, please go.
Thanks. Through the chair to the mayor, that is correct. We didn't include the minister zoning orders. We did make mention of it in our the pledge itself within the chart. We did make notice of the council direction. I believe that was at a January 9th meeting. I'd have to double check the exact date. And that was really the extent of what we acknowledged in the pledge thus far, given the timing of when this needed to go forward.
Okay. Given the numbers you have, were this 4,100 units included as far as your calculations of what we have already in the works now, or are we just waiting till the MZOs would be actually issued, if they're issued? I see nods. That's fine.
Maybe I can jump into that one through the chair to Mayor Collier. So the 4,100 units, it was incorporated. We did break that out into the MCR section of the pledge. Just in terms of, as Carolyn mentioned, we did mention the MZO, but just because of timing, it is in there.
MCR version says we have 32,000 dwelling units through intensification. So I guess my final question is, well, two questions. One, does the figures that were provided here tonight include the 112 acre of greenbelt parcel that was opened up through Bill 23? And what could potentially go on that land?
Any of the planners want to take a crack at that?
Through the chair to the mayor, no, that land was not included.
So the fact that land's not included, just looking at the recommendations, would it be helpful to include this MCR growth projection of 32,000 units as one of our recommendations to clearly show the province that Ajax already has enough land available in our existing urban boundary to give them nearly double what the housing target is set at? And so the province can very clearly see that no further greenbelt lands are required. Would it be helpful to put that in?
Through the chair to the mayor, I'll leave that up to council to the committee to determine if they would like further changes to the pledge as written thus far.
Okay. Well,
Director Romanowski, do you want to add to that?
No, I was just going to echo what Carolyn just said through the chair. If council wants us to amend or have the recommendations amended to include that, then we can. We're just trying to focus the pledge in relation to the allotment that the province put forward to us with the requirements for us to outline how we're going to achieve the target. You know, I think the mayor makes a good point. There's other units out there to be added to the total, but we focused the report and the pledge towards the 17,000 allotment that the province has put forward. So that was kind of the focus of this task this evening.
Right, Chair, I will move that amendment. And
You want to
the
read after the
amendment,
questions, Mayor Collier? There's just
sure,
one
I can
more.
do it after the questions. Thank you.
We'll come back to you. Thank you. Councillor Tom Warren.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that when we're here, we hear about these things on CP24 and Toronto Sun and Star, and all of a sudden it comes into our town, and now we're actually dealing with it at a ground roots level. So probably already is going to happen, but I want to say on record, hopefully we can get some clarity to our residents. You know, one pager is exactly what's going on, how we're responding to this. And that's what I'm asking from staff. I don't need anybody to respond back to it right now, but maybe it's a rhetorical question, but I'm just asking that gets done, you know, so we can explain it to our residents as we have to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Would any of the members of council like to speak before Councillor Bauer?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report and the pledge. A lot of work went into this, obviously. I just had a question. So it's 17,000 total until 2031. Do we know currently what the number is of units that are currently under construction?
Through the chair to Councillor Bauer, we could get you the numbers for under construction. We don't have those available, obviously, this evening. But this would be, not only would we be talking about units under construction, but, you know, units that are approved, units that have executed agreements. There'd be different layers of, you know, I guess what they're calling housing starts in order for them to, in order for municipalities to achieve these targets. If you're asking specifically as to a number as to, you know, what we have started, I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you. I hadn't thought of the question till right now. Otherwise, I would have asked you sooner. Thank you very much. Yes, I would love to know that, just to see net what we, you know, what we're looking at. Thank you. That was my question, Chair.
Yep, staff will take that away. Councillor Henry.
Hi, through the chair to staff. What was the number again for Hunt Street of projected units on Hunt Street?
through the chair to Councillor Henry. I don't know if we have exact numbers. I know maybe Sean McCullough could chime in just because maybe the CAST provided a range of units, but I don't have a number off the top of my head, Councillor Henry. Sean, would you have anything in relation to that?
Through the chair to Councillor Henry, so that we did include that information on the Hunt Street initiative. So it comes out to about 6,400 dwelling units. And that really represents the units at the northern end of downtown and the ones that would be directly affiliated with or would benefit from the extension of servicing along that route.
And through the chair to Sean McCullough's staff, for those 6,400 units, when you say servicing, so we currently do not have the ability to service those units, correct?
So through the chair to Councillor Henry, that's correct. This is the analysis that was done through phase 3 of CAST, looking out to 2051 and what that growth potential was in a large portion of downtown that would funnel servicing this way. So you're correct, we don't have that servicing at the moment. The majority of these units are affiliated with those projections, but we also have developments in application stage that are also being held up by servicing in the downtown.
And what would be the cost to service that area?
So through the chair to Councillor Henry, so right now the projected cost for the Hunt Street extension is between 17 and 26 million. That's just our estimate based on some of the analysis. We're also looking at doing an EA addendum that will look at realignment of some of that and try to bring some of those costs down.
Okay, so at the high end, 26 million through the chair, and you're getting 6,400 units out of that. And we don't know, because it's a projection, how many would be affordable, correct? Because have we had site plans or no?
Nothing.
Councillor Henry, I just want to make sure we're keeping the questions to the report, which is the housing target pledge. We're going into very specific elements here that may not be entirely relevant or could be taken offline. I just want to make sure we kind of keep it to the report.
I am staying within the pledge. Yes, I'll bring the point back around. So with regards to the pledge, if we didn't have the funding for this, my understanding is we currently don't, then that 6,400 units would be taken off the tally, correct? Like if we didn't get the funding for whatever reason, it would be taken off the tally, correct? Because we wouldn't be able to allow for units to be built there without that upgrade. Am I correct in that?
Through the chair to Councillor Henry, that would be correct. We're also looking at other options, but as based on what we know now, that's correct.
So would we have land elsewhere to fulfill that 6,400 units without going into the green belt?
So through the chair to Councillor Henry, so there would be the other locations that are identified in the report. So as Carolyn mentioned earlier, we've projected through this that there's approximately room for 32 to 44,000 units. So those 6,400 units, we'd have to take a closer look through some of the study work and see if there's the ability to increase maybe heights and densities and things, but there are other options that we could look at.
So we could still fulfill even without that, through the chair, we could still fulfill the commitment or potentially fulfill the commitment without touching the green belt, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That was my question. You can see how I brought what I was trying to get at and bring it back around. Thank you, much appreciated.
Thank you, Councillor Henry. Seeing no further hands up, then I believe Mayor Collier has an amendment.
I have an amendment moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Tyler Moore, and I will try and muddle through it and count on clerks to kind of clarify. I wasn't able to send it in advance, but I'm going to basically just piece together two pieces and they can figure out where it goes. The first is under 2.4. I want to just use the Municipal Comprehensive Review Growth Management Study completed by the region identified that there is potential to accommodate approximately 32,000, and Mr. McCullough said 32 to 44. I'll leave it at 32 dwelling units through intensification in Ajax by 2051. Therefore, Ajax already has enough land available in our urban boundary to nearly double the housing target as set out by the province, so any greenbelt lands are not required. And I don't know if that should go under 2 as an extra E, or whether that should be a number 3 separately. But I just think if they read it, that we should be able to show very clearly that our numbers not only meet, but by far exceed their targets, because I know they're entertaining several requests for removal of lands in our greenbelt right now. And we need to use up the lands we already have in our urban boundary. So, Mr. Clerk, I don't know through the chair if that's if you've got the gist of that.
Just give me one moment here. I'm going to bring up Microsoft Word so we can look at the shared wording and make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay, sorry, if we can just quickly summarize that again.
Okay, so basically clipping that paragraph from 2.4, the municipal conference review, you could probably just cut and paste that.
2.4, sorry.
Page 9 of the report of the agenda.
Or page 6 of the report.
Or 6 of the report, 9 of the agenda. Let me see if I can do this. Give me 1 second if I can put together a quick email here.
Sorry, it's 2.4, yeah. And yeah, from the to success. Mayor Collier, did you want to, are you going to type it out or?
Oh, has he got it?
He found the paragraph. What point did you want to,
Sending him a quick kind of thing I just cut and paste together quickly. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, so Jason.
Yep.
Use the part, the Municipal Conference Review Growth Management Study completed by the region identified there was potential to accommodate approximately 32,000 dwelling units through intensification in Ajax by 2051, period. Just that section.
Yep.
And then add to that, and I've sent you an email with the other bit. Basically, and that, or therefore, Ajax already has enough employment land available in our urban boundary, nearly double the housing target as set out by the province. So any greenbelt lands are not required. Or you can make it sound better than that.
I will certainly try my best.
But that's the gist of what I'm trying to get at.
so while the clerk is just putting that together, Mayor Collier, do you want to add anything else?
I don't think I even need to speak to it really. Just this, I just want to make it abundantly clear. Like I said when we were discussing the MZO request last month, I really want to demonstrate to the province that they don't need to be making these arbitrary decisions in our municipality when we already have the available land. And I just want to demonstrate that again and again and again. So we might as well just say it again.
Councilor Tom Warren is the seconder. Is there anything you wanted to add to this?
Yep, very quickly. Happy to second it. I think at this time, it's very important that every council, our council, turn over every stone, look at every option that we have. Things are tightening up for us at the municipal level, and to be diligent. I think this is a good example of that. Just always nudging it as much as we can, every step of the way, so we can make good decisions or assist the province in making smart and reasonable decisions for our town. So happy to second.
And hopefully that bought the clerk enough time to put it on the screen.
All right, does that meet everyone's expectations? Councillor Tyler Morin, Mayor Collier?
We still only have the PDF on screen right now, correct?
Oh,
Do you guys?
my apologies.
Okay. So council can see that there. Any other questions or comments on the amendment?
My question, should it be as an E or should it be as a number 3 separate? Because those A, B, C, D are, that we shouldn't be, we're making this condition, this pledge based on these conditions. And I don't know that this is a condition. I think this is a statement. I would say that should be number 3. That's all. Thank you, Chair.
And then the existing number 3 becomes number 4.
I'm just working on the numbering here.
Fair, yeah. Does that work, Jeff?
I'm just reading it over really quick.
Sorry, can I ask a question during this?
Sure,
time?
Councilor Henry.
I just want to confirm, this is a pledge that we're taking, which is basically an ask to the province, correct? This is in no way anything legally binding, correct?
Well, that was one of the points, is that we aren't penalized if we aren't able to meet the identified housing target. 2A.
Yes. But there's no legal binding to this from the province to us. It's an ask, correct?
Correct. I
Okay.
think the old joke is they might send us to planning jail if we don't fulfill this.
Through the chair to Councillor Henry, the province has requested that the 29 municipalities they identified prepare a housing pledge. They have not indicated any legal related terms to the pledge that they've asked us to prepare. However, since we don't know what their plan is with the responses they'll be receiving, since each municipality is handling the pledge a little differently, we wanted to build in some conditions to cover ourselves in terms of the conditions that we've provided.
So through the chair, this pledge is basically the ask from the province, and it's our way of saying, yes, we're committing to do what you want. However, we'd like to do it this way instead of this way.
Correct.
Thank
Through
you.
the chair to Councillor Henry,
Mhm.
not that we're gonna not do it their way, it's that we're already doing these things. And we already had to do the housing study, and we already have developments under review, and we have lands designated for development that is readily available and service. So I think it's a combination of things. It's not that we're not following what the province wants us to do. They haven't really told us what they want us to do, other than 17,000 units by 2031. And what we're telling the province is, this is how we're going to tackle that. And this is how we're going to go about and to try to achieve it as best as we can within the time limits and the parameters that we have.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Regional Councilor Crawford, I think the mayor just wanted to expand on the answer before we get to you. So, Mayor Collier.
Very quickly, thank you, Chair. The 29 municipalities are the 29 that make up the big city mayors. So we have been in discussions constantly with the big city mayors as far as this pledge and what we're doing. And my understanding is most, if not all, are replying similarly to what we are in this today.
Great, thank you. Regional Councilor Crawford.
Why wouldn't the province do an inventory check with all municipalities as to what they have available, rather than randomly throwing out numbers and hoping that it sticks to a wall? Is it, clearly they've got the land, like it seems like all we're doing is spinning our wheels in mud, and we could be going forward with all of this stuff. But, now all of a sudden we're halted because we're trying to figure out what they actually want. Had they have come in and said, what have you got on your roster right now? Then maybe they could have come up with some realistic numbers. Like, I'm so frustrated with every single bill that has been thrown at us in the last 6 months without any investigation or any kind of consultation with municipalities. It's such a waste of time. Not a question, I realize, just
Yeah,
a
treat it as a
statement of
comment.
frustration. Just as, yeah,
you.
just as, yeah.
To the amendment.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're actually on the amendment, but thank you for that. It's fair.
I don't really
so,
care. I'm still frustrated by the whole process.
Absolutely. So on that note, on the amendment, any other questions or comments? If not, we will call the vote then. All in favor of the amendment? Oh, sorry. Director Romanowski had a comment.
Just editorial. Between available and urban, I should think it should say within its, as opposed to in our. Through the
I'll take that as a friendly amendment, Chair.
friendly amendment.
I'm friendly.
One more time. Yeah, you got it, Jason. Okay.
Thank you,
So,
Director.
as amended, all in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, so that passes. Now back to the main motion. Any last questions, comments, concerns? Then I will call to vote then. All in favor? Opposed? And that passes. Thank you, staff. So moving on to the best part. Moved by, we'll do Mayor Collier, seconded by Councillor Henry, that the February 6th, 2023 meeting of the Community Affairs and Planning Committee be adjourned. Any questions, comments? Great. All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic evening.
Congratulations, Joanne.